So you wanted to sketch cars, transportation, whatever related to that, and you're not doing well, you want to improve some of the things. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps today to hopefully gonna help you. And I'm gonna sketch cars because that's what I do. I design a car in my garage. That's what I so I don't waste a lot of money and time. You want to conceptualize some ideas on paper before you take them and start making them. Number 1 is going to be probably the most valuable advice that I'm trying to give you today is lock your wrist. Alright, when you draw lines or circles or whatever, simple shapes, do not just try to move your fingers. Do not try to just move your wrist. Your lines will not be straight. Lock your wrist. I don't want to see any of that. I want to see the whole hand move across the paper. You want it to move your whole arm, or you want to pivot your arm around your elbow, like this. Move it a few times. Once you feel you got this, you can imagine this very straight line going. Touch your tip of your pen, pencil, whatever. I'm moving my whole arm. I do not lock my wrist. I lock my wrist. I do not move my wrist. Number 1 advice: make straight lines. Number 2, let's start doing a simple sketch. Number 2 advice to me is going to be probably simple lines and then side views. Start with side views and move to try to do a 3-dimensional car shape. I start with wheels. Again, I move my whole arm. Let me get a clean piece of paper. Start with wheels. I put my ground down. Your first line don't need to be nice, don't need to be pretty. Make him light, just keep moving your whole arm. Make a shape of a car. You can improve that later. Make a line here. So you make the silhouette of a car first, connect here and here with a line, and then you can draw lines here to make the shapes of a door seams, and put a line here also. That's where the handles approximately would be like, and this is your simple shape of a car. Then you want to move on to the 3-dimensional. Give it a depth. I mean, sort of like you just expand all these lines and connect them again. And you can build from that, get better from that. But so that's 2D to 3D, simple kind of way to do it. But number 1 is the most important step. Remember about this step. Number 2, and then number 3, I'm gonna give you a very, very important tip: how to make the car look better in 3-dimensional shape. So let's do another 3-dimensional, trying to 3D view of a car. Instead of drawing it horizontal like this, draw the car. It doesn't need to be pretty. Going up on a slope like this, and just draw your wheels like this, which is wrong, but I'll show you how to make it better. Draw a simple shape of a car. Okay, and then you're given a depth. You just extend it, kind of pull it out, right? You pull your flat shape out, given a depth. Now, the third piece of advice I'm going to give you is going to be perspective and ellipse. I probably spelled that wrong. Ellipse is going to be very important to make these wheels look right, because when you get these wheels look right in this view, the car you sketch is going to be much better. So perspective is basically that your car is kind of, it's all your lines are going out in the distance, but they will meet. All these lines will meet eventually at some distant point. Let's say my point is right here. So if you pick like some distant point and you point these lines towards that point, like that's my trunk. My trunk doesn't go here. My trunk, edge of my trunk is gonna go and eventually meet with this point. Same thing with all the other lines. The window here, the base of the window, the front of the hood, and so on. Now you notice that's how this starting to look more realistic, because you just added the perspective illusion. So now we got this side view of a car that's looks very realistic, because thanks to the perspective. Now, but our wheels are all screwed up. Last very important piece of advice: the ellipses. You need to draw ellipses, and you need to put them in the right orientation. Now, ellipse. This is a circle, but as soon as you squeeze the circle, either like this way or that way, you create an ellipse. Now, if you look at the ellipse, if you draw lines in your ellipse, a vertical and horizontal, you notice that this is, let's say this is longer, this is shorter. If you ellipse it this way, if it was like this, it would be the other way around. However, the two lines are different, two lengths. The longer line is your major axis because it's longer. The shorter line is called the minor axis because it's shorter, and this is longer, this is shorter. I hope I said it that way. So ellipse, your ellipse has a major and a minor axis. You want to draw ellipse here, but how to put this? How to orientate the ellipse? Is it like this? No, my wheels just look awful. What you do is, let's put a center of my wheel. Let's put a dot in the center of my wheel, and let's draw a line going back to my my point, my perspective point. Same thing here. Draw a line back to my perspective point. Now, once you have these lines, you're going to put your ellipse here in the center, but you're going to make a perpendicular line. I hope you know what perpendicular means. Perpendicular to this. A line perpendicular to this line will be like this, right? There will be a 90 degrees angle right here. So you draw a perpendicular line, and the perpendicular line will be aligned with your major axis. Your ellipse, believe it or not, it will be, your wheel is going to be this, like this. It seems almost not right, right? But yes, it is right. I'll make it a little. See, major, minor axis. My minor goes it's aligned with the perspective, all the perspective lines. Same thing here. I have my line here that's going towards the vanishing point. I'm gonna put my minor. Minor is gonna be aligned with this. Major is gonna be obviously perpendicular. You put your ellipse, and your wheels all of a sudden are oriented correctly, and that's what makes it look realistic. Now your car wheels are the right orientation, and that's gonna make your sketch look much better. So I wanted to share that with you, the very simple and important steps. Number one, lock your wrist. Remember, I don't want to see any of this. You want to make nice, long, and straight lines with your whole hand. Perspective and the ellipse. The ellipse is important, right? And from there you can build upon your sketching, you can refine them, you can get better, but you need the basics, right? You need the basics. You need the basics, and you need to know the ellipsis in order for your sketch to look realistic. All right, that's about it.